What's up, everyone? You see the title. Now we just have to make it happen. So, this is actually an old school YouTube tradition to make the video when you get close to a big number. I'm close to 5 million. I've got about 3,400 some odd to go. And I'm not going to stop this live stream until I hit 5 million. I hope I'm not. So if you know people and want to share this video, I guess you can share the live stream. Aaron can tell me that. Aaron's moderating here. Instead of leaving, instead of doing, what do they call them? Donating money to it, just share it with your friends. You can share the live stream. You can share the live stream link. A couple things. Let's see here. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. Okay, first things first. I have a Memorial Day sale. It's the last time I'm offering all 6 of my courses for the price of $109. I'm not going to offer them all together. It's like 20 something bucks a course. There's 6 courses. I'll just do them real fast. My Beato book interactive. These are all video courses. Beato ear training, which is a video course with all these modules, hundreds of modules, ear training modules to help develop your ear, learn how to figure out melodies, chord progression, stuff like that. My music theory for songwriters, very self-explanatory video course. I have a course called Quick Lessons Pro, which is like an intermediate guitar thing. It's 5 hours of video courses based on my quick lessons shorts that I've done. I wouldn't say throughout my entire channel. They didn't even invent shorts till about 2019, 2020, something like that. My beginner guitar course and my Arpeggio Masterclass, which is just that. It's a video course they all have guitar tablature and things like that with them. So if people ask, oh, Rick, what's in them? Those are the things that are in them. Now, when Aaron put the counter on here, the counter is obscured slightly by I don't know if it is for you guys. Is the counter clear on here? It's 996, 546. If you guys are not subscribers, then hit subscribe. A lot of people don't know that they're subscribers. They just get the videos in their subscription feed just because if YouTube thinks you're interested, and you don't get everyone in your feed. I have friends that I subscribe to that I'm literally a subscriber to, and I don't get pushed their videos unless it's something that they think that I like. So I tend to not use the homepage for myself, and I'll just go to their channel and see what they've put out. So that's kind of how I use YouTube. Plus my YouTube algorithm is completely messed up in that I look up so many different things when I'm preparing for a video that it thinks that I'm interested in all these different things, many of which I'm not interested in. So I know there's probably a way to reset it. Anyways, we're going to listen to music today. We'll talk about music theory. We'll talk about songs. We'll talk about albums. I want to talk a little bit about the history of my channel for those of you that haven't been watching it. I'll be looking at the chat also, and I will answer questions in there. But please don't use super chat. I'm one of those YouTubers that tells you not to use super chat because I'm looking here, I'm scanning it, but I just want to bring this up. Okay, so just for a little channel history here, I started it on June 2nd when I did my intro video. This wasn't my first video. June 2nd, 2016. It was 3 weeks after my mom passed away. I started my channel. But I made my first video on June 8th, 2016. In the first year, so on July 4th, 2017, I hit 100,000 subscribers. I remember it because I was eating lunch with my friend Brian Whitman. Brian, if you're out there watching this, I saw Brian yesterday, saw him last night. If you're watching this, it was very funny because Brian and I were standing outside this diner in Decatur, and I said, "Yeah, I'm just a few subscribers away from 100,000." And Brian ran a couple other people's YouTube channels because he was doing social media stuff for some people. He goes, "Oh, hang on a second," and then he subscribed from these other people's channels that he ran, and he put me over 100,000, which I thought was pretty funny. Anyways, so I started June 8th, 2016, first video. On August 14th, 2019, so 3 years and 2 months later, I hit 1 million subscribers. 2019. In 2020, on December 12th, so 1 year and 3 months later, I hit 2 million subscribers. And then on June 18th, 2022, I hit 3 million subscribers. So about a year and a half later, I hit 3 million. On March 5th, 2024, I hit 4 million subscribers. And hopefully today, with your help, if you share this video with other people and say, check out Rick, and if you haven't subscribed to Rick, hit the subscription button, I will hit 5 million subscribers today. What day is today? It's May 25th. 2025. So that would be 1 year and 2 months or so. Almost 1 year and 3 months, but almost to the 9th year of my channel. So the 9th year of my channel is, let's see, 1 week from today is June 1st. June 2nd is 8 days from now, was the day I uploaded my channel trailer, my original channel trailer, which I've changed out. But my first video was 2 weeks from today will be my 9th channel anniversary. And in that time, I've done almost, I think I've done 1,900 videos, maybe 2,000 videos, something like that. I do have 2 channels. If you want to go through and hit my Rick Beato 2 while you're at it, you can subscribe there. I'm almost at 900,000 on there. I'd love to get to 1 million on there. With your help, I can. Maybe you don't even know I have a Rick Beato 2. And let me just tell you about why I started Rick Beato 2. I started Rick Beato 2 on the I started Rick Beato 2. Oh, for people that are like, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe and subscribe. Well, it actually removes them. You can't unsubscribe and subscribe. For Rick Beato 2, I started about 4 months after I started this channel. So Rick Beato 2 has been around for 9 years. I started in 2016. And what I used it for at first was I used it for to do live streams. I would never label them what they were. I would come on here, and I had a group of people that started out with probably about, I'd say I had about 10,000 followers on there, something like that, for the first couple years. Some of you on here, I'll recognize your names. I know a lot of the people that have been following my channel that long, that still to this day I'll see in here, people that I recognize. If you're on here, I would use that channel to try out ideas. Matter of fact, one of the ideas that I tried out was my first What Makes This Song Great, which wasn't called What Makes This Song Great. I have all these multi-tracks, or I had all these multi-tracks. And I remember I was playing one of the multi-tracks for this Blink-182 song, All the Small Things. Weeping Scorpion says, "Notice Me." K1 F8 sub 6 years ago. And I played the multi-tracks of All the Small Things. And there's this really cool octave part that goes into in the chorus under the harmonies. And it's really beautiful because it's doing octave Cs, and Roger Manning from Jellyfish played it. And Roger, so they're going, it's like na 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 It's but on this ba sings that note ba in one of the harmony parts. Da. You hear how dissonant that is? Da. It's that half step interval between the note B and C, and it creates this dissonance that you don't really notice unless you isolate. If you go back and watch my What Makes a Song Great video of that, not only will you notice that I'm way younger than I am now, because it was 2018, I isolated that octave part along with that note B that was part of a harmony, and you can hear the dissonance. And then people are like, I never noticed that. Then people used to say in the comments, "Oh my God, I can't not hear that now when I listen to it," and I would play along with it. I set the camera right here, right, just off to the left of this monitor here. And I shot this way, and I had my Mesa Boogie amp back here, and I always tried in my What Makes a Song Great videos, I tried to use the same gear that they used if I owned it. I had a dual rectifier at the time. Well, I still have it back there. And it's a great, really great amp, and I tried to match the sounds for it, and I thought that was a really fun video. And then I did like 5 of them in a row. And from that day, which was, I want to say January 29th, 2018, somebody could probably look that up and say my first What Makes a Song Great. I can look it up. Since that day, I've basically gotten 1,000 subscribers a day since then. And it's interesting. I talked to somebody that was a YouTube expert. There are people that are YouTube experts way back when that told me that if a channel doesn't reach 1 million subscribers in the first year, that it never will. I don't know if that's true, but I know it from friends that a lot of my friends that have had their channel over 3 years and haven't reached it, they haven't reached it. So I don't know. I'm sure that there are examples of this that of people that did reach 1 million subscribers, but I found that to be kind of true. Now, for those of you that have been watching my channel or that started watching my channel right at the beginning, you'll know that I had these videos with my son Dylan that were on before the channel, that were on Facebook. A lot of people thought that they were on YouTube, but I put them on YouTube later, but they were actually on Facebook before I started my channel. The first one I posted on December 15th, 2015. And the story behind that, I've told it before, but I'll tell it since you guys are on here. I had a guy who's a friend of mine now named Shane Lee, a country artist. And Shane was here. I was working on some songs with Shane. And Dylan came down to the studio. And and I was like, "Oh, check this out, Shane. That's my son Dylan." And I was sitting at the piano. I said, "Watch this." And I played some notes and then I played a really complicated chord. And I said, "What is this, Dylan?" And he was like, A minor over D flat major. And Shane's like, "What?" Now Shane is a new theory, and he said, "Wait, play the chord. What does that mean?" I said, "It's an A minor chord on the top." But the voicing I played was C, E, A, and I say it because I visualize it. And in the bass, in the left hand, I played D flat, F, A flat, D flat major. And I taught Dylan music theory. Honestly, the same stuff that I teach that are in my Beato book, that are in my ear training, all these things. I said to Dylan when I realized he had perfect pitch when he was 3, I thought, well, if Dylan has perfect pitch and he can hear when I play C, E, G, I'll just teach him the theory. So I said, hey, Dylan, when you hear the notes C, E, G, no matter what order they are in, right? Because they can be in a 3-note chord. C major is a 3-note chord, C, E, G, right? So those 3 notes, so we're going to do a little music theory here. So if I take a C chord, that's a C major chord, C, E, G. C is the root, E is the 3rd, G is the 5th. And the reason it's called that is because C is the 1st note of the scale, right? The 1 or the root. E is the 3rd note of the scale, the 3rd. And G is the 5th note of the scale. Now, there are intervals involved with these things, right? Between the root and the 3rd is a major 3rd interval, and between the root and the 5th is a perfect 5th interval. But any combination of C, E, G is a C major chord. You can have E in the bass, right? So if I play here, this is a root position. This is a first inversion C major chord. This is a second inversion. When I say first inversion, I mean that the note E, the 3rd of the scale or the 3rd of the chord, is in the bass. And a second inversion major chord is with the 5th in the bass, which is note G. So you can hear root position, first inversion, second inversion, root position again, first inversion, and then, and I'm kind of out of frame there. There's the highest C major there, and that's a second inversion. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Love to hear a chat with Chris DeGarmo. Okay, I appreciate that. Chris DeGarmo from Queensryche. He's a great guitar player. I always thought about, and I don't want to be answering a lot of, I said no super chats at the beginning, even though I appreciate that. There's a Queensryche song that I always wanted to do a breakdown of, and I have the tracks of it too. Jet City Woman. You guys know that? And one of the things I like about Jet City Woman is that it does the same thing that the Blink song does, in that at the end of the song, they go to a first inversion chord. I want to say they go to G over B, and they have the note C in the chord. I want to say that's here, but I'm going to look up Jet City Woman. Jet City. Another thing, so for those of you that don't know Queensryche, they are a Seattle band, and the Empire record came out in 1990. So a year before grunge, all the big grunge records happened. Before Nirvana Nevermind, before Pearl Jam 10, a year before the Metallica Black Album. I'm not saying that's grunge, but Metallica Black Album, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2 and 3, Smashing Pumpkins, Gish. A lot of big records came out. Swerve Driver's first record came out. Ray's also, My Bloody Valentine's record came out. Their first Loveless record came out. U2 Achtung Baby came out in November. This was a massively big year for music. Here's Jet City Woman. Let me. That's not Jet City Woman. I'll play a little bit of this here in the verse.
Of your heartbeat echo in my head like a scream. What you do to me? Waited so long, I can't wait another day without you. Jet City Woman, it's a long way home. Jet City Woman.
So later on in the song, they go ba da 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 da. Let me go to the spot. That's where I love this part. Great soloing. Cool bridge. I think they go up now. Right here, maybe? Right here? Okay, they go down. Might be next time around. The bass. Right there. I think it's either the guitar or bass is doing that. I can't turn it up that loud. Come on. Queensryche, Empire record, amazing. You might know it for Silent Lucidity. It was produced by Peter Collins, who passed away last year. It was a great producer that I got to meet one time in... he produced the Indigo Girls at Tree Sound. I want to say it was Indigo Girls. And I met him in 2002. It was before I did, it was 2005. Oh, by the way, we're trying to get to 5 million subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video with your friends. There's a 1 to 2 minute delay on the stream, so sub now. I don't know if that's true in Investment Joy. But Queensryche, woo, the record smokes, and it's so dark. Come on, that sounds so dark, doesn't it? It's beautiful, beautiful. Silent Lucidity, I'm sure you guys know that song, which is an amazing song, but the whole record is great. So Aaron just put up a what do you call this? A poll. Have you gotten your complete Beato teaching method? So all my courses are available through Memorial Day, the Memorial Day sale, tomorrow night at midnight. All 6 of my courses. Since I don't do any advertising on my channel, the only things I advertise are my teaching courses. I made a decision early on in my video. I want to talk about that. Let me tell you what's in the course, and I want to get to that in a second. My Beato Book Interactive video course that has hundreds of audio examples and so many. I went back and watched the videos. It has so many videos, lectures, music theory lectures, whiteboard lectures, all different kind of lectures on music theory. Then my ear training program, which once again has lectures about how to hear things, how to hear certain intervals, things that are difficult, ways to go around practicing them on your own. And it has hundreds of training modules. I've got my Quick Lessons Pro, which is more of an intermediate guitar course that's based on my short form content that I do, where I say, quick lesson. If you're playing, a thing I like to do is to use triad fragments. I'm just pulling out one of the ones that come top of my head because I did it recently. I was talking about it, and I say let's say you have a B sus chord, and I do things like take a B sus2, A major 7, and I take these. I do this B like add 4. And I say take those interval shapes, those little chord fragments, and develop lines over those, right? I mean, I'm doing things like that. What I did here, so I go. I'm thinking this. Come down that E sus4 arpeggio, or I'm sorry, B sus4 arpeggio. Then this is an E add 4 arpeggio. Some of you say that sounds like the Allman Brothers. It is the Allman Brothers. So I show these things in these quick lessons. They're like a mini 30-second lesson. Well, my quick lessons course is I take that and then I do what I'm doing here, where I break down the thinking process behind it. I'll say, well, these things. Those are all from the B. From the B Mixolydian scale, or E major scale, if you will, but it's B Mixolydian. So I go through all these different, there's a bunch of different quick lessons that I did where I break them down and I teach a full lesson on that. Okay, so I got 2,900 and some odd subs. It's clicking up here nicely. You guys help me hit 5 million. I'm going to stay on until I do it. Come on, Rick, shred like Steven. I know Steven. I haven't had Steven on my channel before, but I was trying to make a video with Steven, and at the NAMM show like 2019 or so, and we weren't able to do it because we couldn't find a guitar that played well enough for him. I'll have him on one of these days. A lot of the people that I have some videos that I just filmed recently. I spent the day with Brad Paisley last week. I spent the day with Alison Krauss the next day. I just had Andy Wood, who's a phenomenal guitar player, an old friend of mine, in town yesterday, 2 days ago. I can't even remember now. Maybe it was 2 days ago. Oh, man. It's hard to remember. I have videos that are that I haven't put out yet because I have so many. Look at this. 84% of people haven't got my complete Beato method yet. That's a lot of people that haven't gotten it. I have videos with Pat Travers. I have videos with I have a bunch of videos that are almost done being edited, and okay, Aaron says it's not obscured, the video counter. It's only obscured on my thing where it says live. Okay, good. Go to rickbeato.com, by the way, to get my complete Beato method that's on sale for basically, what is it, Aaron? $26. Aaron's out in Phoenix, but he's moderating this. It's like 6 courses for $109. It's like $26 a course, 27. I'm not good in math. I'm very good in math. So I have a bunch of videos that I have not put out yet because I'm trying not to bombard you guys with all the long interviews because there's so many different types of music that I enjoy. I like to teach things and I like to talk about subjects that are in the news, or things that are relevant right now today. So you have to be able to react with things that are going on. And there's a lot more short form content that I like to make, opinion pieces, things like that. Could be song breakdowns or the Spotify top 10 countdowns, things like that. I want to talk about a couple other things though that have been a consistent thing throughout my channel from the beginning. Is that I've never done product endorsements. I have a signature guitar here, okay, that was for sale. I don't know if they have any more for sale. Maybe Gibson does online. But they did 3 runs of my guitar, of my signature guitar, back in over the last few years. The money that I would make for it goes to Save the Music, which is a public school that goes directly to public school music education. Wonderful charity. Other than that, I've never done an endorsement of anything on my channel. Now, I always talk about the things that I use. I talk about I'm using these Atom Audio monitors because I love the sound of them. In my control room, I have NS10s. I also have Neumann. I'm trying to think of what the model are. Neumann monitors in there. I've got a bunch of different pieces of gear here. I have my PRS Custom 24 back here, right? I have a bunch of Les Pauls here. People are like, why do you need so many Les Pauls? Well, they all have different pickups in them. Some of them, there's a red one that's a deluxe that has mini humbuckers. And I historically have had these things because I used to do so many on, I used to do a lot of new metal bands because that was big when I started producing full time back in the 1999 to 2000. I did a lot of pop punk and alternative music, and I did a lot of new metal. And I was almost never in standard tuning. I had one guitar in B. I had one guitar in C. Drop B, drop C, drop B flat. Drop D flat. It was crazy. None of my guitars were ever in standard tuning. I think I had one. Like I have my Telecaster or something would be in standard tuning. But I would invariably be going to grab a guitar to play along with something. It's like, And I couldn't ever find a guitar that was tuned to standard. So then eventually I would keep a guitar here on a stand that would be tuned to standard if I wanted to sit and just jam along with something. But I never did that. I was, full disclosure here. I played in my band Billionaire, but we had very few guitar. We had guitar solos and songs, but there were no things where you stretched out. And I didn't play all the guitar solos. Mark, who was our singer, played some of the guitar solos. I played my last jazz gig in 1991. So I didn't do. Okay, so Patrick Jordan, sorry I got distracted, said $109 is $18.16 a piece. Patrick, thank you for that because I am the worst. I'm thinking it's like $26 a course. Okay, that is ridiculously low. If I do say so myself, $18 a course is too low, but that's okay. Aaron texted me too, $18 a course, $18.16, Aaron. So I went on a tangent. I never did product endorsements. And when I say that, I don't endorse guitars. I don't endorse pedals. I don't endorse mic pre's or microphones or anything like that. But I always talked about what I use. Even in some of these videos. What's up, Dean? Even in videos where, like some of my biggest videos, top 10 drum intros or so, I used maybe 3 microphones there. And I can't remember what they were. But if you go back and watch it, it might have been it could have been, I don't even remember. I probably had 2 room mics, maybe a couple Neumann room mics, and maybe a Royer ribbon mic, something like that. Stereo ribbon mic, something like that. I can't remember what I used in those videos, but I would always say that it's that going through a BAE 1073 style mic pre, okay? And I would show the things. Or I would go through this because I think it's always important for people to that want to know how do you get certain sounds. If we're doing a drum video and I have Greg Bissonette here, I'll talk about those kind of things, or I think I made a separate video about that for the drum recording part of it. And I've historically had a lot of recording videos on my channel too. Another person that I had in here recently that I've not put out the video is Eric Valentine. I did a short with Eric, but Eric Valentine, who did the Queens of the Stone Age Songs for the Deaf record, which is one of the most amazing sounding records. He did Third Eye Blind record, the record, first record with Semi Charmed Life on there, and Jumper, and Motorcycle Drive By, and Graduate, Losing a Whole Year, Narcolepsy, all those songs. And got amazing sounds on those records. He's just an incredibly good engineer. And then I've historically interviewed a lot of producers and most of the producers that I've interviewed are also engineers. Daniel Lanois. We talked about ways, engineering things. We talked about things that he played on albums and all the amazing records that he did. Peter Gabriel So, Peter Gabriel Us, U2 Joshua Tree, U2 Achtung Baby, U2 All You Can't Leave Behind. All these incredible records he did with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan and Robbie Robertson, and we talked about so many different records in there. And then I went down to his studio, and he had his drum set up, and he had an RCA 44, the big ribbon mic on the drums right over it, and we talked about what he used to use on these things. He had, as far as his mic pre's, he had 3 BCM10 Neve 10-channel sidecars is what we used to call them. They'd have 3 channels of 1073s or 1084s. Amazing. But they're like mini mixing boards with 10 channels. He had 3 sets of them. So that would be 30 channels of Neve. Incredible sounding. Those Neves were the best mic pre's. And when I did my studio tour here, if you guys have seen that video where I introduced my whole team, I started the video with that. Because it takes a lot of people to run this channel. There's Tom that works here, and John, and Mike, and there's Aaron who's in the chat. You hear me talk about them, and GL or Ken, who's been in many of my videos, we've been working together for 25 years. There's Pavel. Pavel comes in, and Pavel Rusakov comes in and films these videos. All the videos. Tom films a lot of the videos. Pavel comes in the ones that really need multi-camera things that have to be captured when I have people, and he travels with me too. Like when we went and interviewed Tori Amos at her studio in England. And he's been on all these different things. David Gilmour in New York City and whoever. But he comes here when people are here to be interviewed. Pavel is here, and he's running a 3-camera setup for our interviews. And it's, you only have one chance to capture these people. Another one of the interviews I did, Brendan O'Brien, speaking of incredible engineers. We talked about the Brendan records that he did, all the different STP records, all the Pearl Jam records, the records he mixed like Super Unknown, and the first 2 Black Crowes records that he engineered and mixed that are amazing. And he played the Hard to Handle solo on the first record, and he did Train, Drops of Jupiter, and Brendan's an amazing producer and does almost no interviews. So Pavel is here to do that. So it's a big team of people, and I don't do I don't do any endorsements or anything. So the only so the income that I make from views of the channel and from my course sales, I put back into making these videos to put out for free here. Somebody said, do I have any advice for people who want to start a new channel? Jinzo J. Okay, here's my advice for people who want to start a channel. You can start a channel and be successful. You can start a channel today and you can have one of the biggest channels on YouTube. No question about it. There is no, well, the best time to start a channel was in 2016 or 2012 or whatever. No, the best time to start a channel, if you want to do that, the best time to do anything is today, right? That's it. That's my advice for this. And you can be successful at it. When I started my channel, I didn't think, 9 years from now, I'm going to be at 5 million subscribers. It might be I might be on this live stream for 9 years before I get to 5 million. Come on, people. Hit the subscribe button. Hit like. The more you hit like on here, the more YouTube sends it out to people. There's 3,000 people on the stream right now. If you guys all hit like at the same time, then it will send it out to more people. So if people hit the like button, I always wonder, it's like, how does YouTube know who to send this out to? Usually, if it's John Asher just bought the bundle. John, awesome, appreciate that. YouTube will send out things that people like, right? If there's a lot of engagement, if you leave comments, things like that. So I didn't set out to do this to get subscribers or anything. I felt that at the time when I started my channel, I was doing it at night when I was still producing. And for me, it was a way to give back. I've been really fortunate to have had to grow up in a place that valued music education, which is in Fairport, New York. I just made a video I visited my elementary school when I was in Rochester over my birthday last month. And my brother John lives near my old our old elementary school. And when I said to him, I was at his house and I said, hey, do you know any, for those of you that didn't watch it, I was like, do you know anybody at Northside School? He said, yeah, I know the principal, Aaron. I said, is there any way we get a tour? Because I hadn't been there since 1974. He says, yeah, we'll go over there. So we go over, and the school had just let out, and then we went in, and she's the principal, and so we talked to her for a while, and she gave me a tour of it. And her son is a YouTuber. I forget how old her son is, but I told her that if he needed any ideas on his YouTube channel, he has about 10,000 subscribers. I'd be glad to offer anything I can help. But that was it. That was the whole impetus for this, was to kind of give back, with all the different, all the advantages that I've had. Now, you guys that have followed the channel for a long time, you know the stories I've told about auditioning for school for music and not getting in the first time because I couldn't play what the audition requirements required on the guitar, on classical guitar, because my guitar teacher wasn't a classical guitar player, and he read the requirements, and he didn't know the hand position, and we just learned stuff from a Mel Bay book. And I failed my audition, and I went to Fredonia State University for one semester and learned from a freshman guitarist, Phil Sasso. And he taught me how to play classical guitar well enough to re-audition at Ithaca College, where I didn't get in, and I got in. And then I taught there 6 years later. Heliometer. I can't say enough how good the Beato bundle is. Okay, this is not a paid ad here. I went to music school for 4 years, didn't learn as much as I did studying with Rick's courses in the first month. Worth every penny. Worth every penny. I thought it was Penny was the one, was the name. Worth every penny. Thank you, Heliometer. Heliometer. Lex, what's up, Lex? Appreciate that. You're amazing, man. your guitar, Lex. You got to play guitar more on your channel. I've heard you play. You got to dedicate a episode to. Well, you just asked me to come on and we'll talk about guitar solos. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. That's very, very kind of you. So this, just the idea to do this, to come on here on YouTube, to teach things. I have a very diverse knowledge base. I've got an undergrad degree in classical bass. And when I say that, I have an undergrad degree in classical music. I have a master's degree in jazz guitar. I taught jazz studies. I went to New England Conservatory for my master's degree. I taught jazz studies for 5 years, not only at Ithaca College, but I taught at the New School for a semester, subbing for my friend Iden back in 1988. And I subbed a couple times in the fall of 88, which I figured out from going through my old pay stubs when Brad Meldau and Chris Potter were in the class. Little did I know that they were going to go on to become some of the most famous jazz musicians of all time. And then I stopped teaching in 1992 at Ithaca College because I got signed to a publishing deal as a songwriter with Polygram Music Publishing. And I worked, and I moved down to Atlanta in 1994. I got signed to a record deal when I was 36 years old in 1998, made a record and got dropped because of the first, when there was the first big merger that happened in the music business in 1999, which really I don't think was spurred on by Napster because they were basically at the same time. But I was on tour with my band Billionaire in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and our lawyer called me because everybody else was sleeping. I was out for a run or something. Called me. He's like, "Hey, did you see the news today?" And I said, "No." He said Universal Music bought Polygram because we were on London Sire Records. And I said, "What does that mean?" He goes, "That means your tour support ended yesterday and you're dropped." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, go back and tell the guys, do you guys have enough to keep going to your next gig?" And I said no. I said no. So he said, "Well, then turn around and go back home," which is what we did. We literally drove back to Atlanta. I had to go in and tell the guys, wake them up and say, "Okay, we got dropped. Not only are we dropped, but we're off tour. The rest of our tour is canceled." And so I went back. The other guys went back and honestly worked at restaurants. And when I interviewed Jeff Ament and Mike McCready of Pearl Jam 2 weeks ago and talked to them when Andy Wood died on March 19th, 1990, they had a record coming out in July. They had spent all their money on their record, Mother Love Bone, and they had to go back and get jobs. And for those of you that didn't see the interview there that I did with those guys, that's a part that I think got glossed over with the interview because they talked about the jobs that they had. And one of the things with that, you gotta, somebody says, would I consider interviewing Victor Wooten and Les Claypool? I've interviewed Victor 3 times on my channel. If you just look it up, I love Victor. We've been friends for years. And those guys talked about getting jobs again. And when they said that, I didn't say, "Oh, well, I did the same thing with my band." No, I never talk about myself in my interviews. I said but I thought to myself, wow. And then I asked them, "Did you ever imagine that a year from then, not even a year, in December, they were in the studio doing the Temple of the Dog record, but they met Eddie Vedder a couple months later. They started writing songs again. Maybe it was the beginning of that summer in Stone Gossard's parents' attic. And so they had that period of time where they were just working jobs like all bands do when they get dropped. And that's just that's a reality of the music business. So my job, I didn't work in restaurants. I started producing bands. And I found this band that called Left Front Tire. And I produced a song. I produced 5 songs. And one of the songs got on the American Pie 2 soundtrack, which sold 2 million copies, by the way. And once I did that, like I got that thing, and then they told their friends, and I got another producing gig, and I got another producing gig, and I never stopped working. And then my friend Steve-O that was at Atlantic Records said, hey, I've got this guy, Brent Smith. I want you to, who has a band called Shinedown. They haven't done their, finished their first record. Would you be interested in writing some songs with him? And I said, what's the style? He says, it's kind of like Alice in Chains. And, riff, low-tuned rock, heavy rock. And send me a song. And I heard Brent's voice. I was like, wow. And I went down and I wrote a song called Lost in the Crowd with Brent. And ended up doing 4 songs on their first record that sold 2 million copies. And that was in 2002. And so I produced records. Like I said, all different genres of music, pop punk things, because Left Front Tire was a pop punk band, new metal, screamo, all different types of things. I did singer-songwriters. I did all different styles of music. Share the live. Aaron tells me to tell people to share the live stream here with your friends so we can get to 5 million. So I was working in music production until that viral video with my son Dylan on December 15th, 2015. And when that video got 80 million views, it had like 250,000 comments on Facebook. And those were on my friend Shane's video. I put it on my channel. It got 3 million. And then my friend Shane put it on his channel, and it went bananas. And that had 250,000 comments. When I think about my channel, I mean, I have videos with that have a lot of comments, but 250,000 comments, it was insane. And it made me realize, this internet thing. And honestly, I never posted anything on other than videos of my kids to show my mom on Facebook, on YouTube, on anything. I never made a post about anything. There was virtually no record of me on the internet before December 15th, 2015. I never posted pictures, anything. I never took pictures with any of the bands I worked with. I never recorded any video. I didn't let any of the bands record videos. Which I regret, honestly, because I've got virtually no record of me having worked with anyone. And so Joe says he started playing guitar again because of my videos. So I started playing guitar. Again, honestly, from scratch when I started my channel. I was so out of practice. Ben says, I've ever done a video on a musical artist that don't know music theory. What are my thoughts on it? Most artists that I interview don't know music theory. So that's not anything that's very common to not know music theory. And music theory is good so that you can converse about music. That's what's good about music theory. If I want to explain something to someone and have them understand it, and let's say I want to do a session. If I'm in Nashville, for example, right? Oh, it's a 4-1-6-5 chord progression. Everybody in Nashville knows what that is. If you're in the key of C, you go to the 4 chord, F, 4-1, C, F major to C major, to 6, which is A minor, to 5, which is G major. And then if you want to transpose that, let's say we want to transpose that to the key of G, C major, G major, E minor, D major. Let's say we want to transpose that to the key of F, B flat major, F major, D minor, C major. This is why the Nashville number system, which is basically the Roman numeral system that we use, is so valuable, because you can transpose songs and learn them in any key. And if you have a singer that says, you know what, that's not quite in my range, can you move it down a half step? Can you move it up a half step? You can instantly transpose. And that's why this is so valuable for my music theory is so valuable. Okay, so I want to say that we're on the stream for people to subscribe so I can get to 5 million. We've gotten about what have we gotten? 1,000 subscribers already? Something like that. So we are 2,400 something away. Oh, we can easily get to it. It's going to take a while. I'm going to lose my voice maybe. No. I just got asked, where do I get my ideas from? Oh, that's a great question. So I have I keep a little notes thing of ideas for videos. A lot of them are just video titles. I have a video that I shouldn't tell you here, because I have videos that I want to. Let me read you some titles here. See if you guys think new video ideas. I've made these videos. A lot of these videos are videos that I've already made. So I will okay, hold on. Oh, I can't find them now. I have so many notes things on here. I got to figure out how to search in them. So when I started the channel, most of my early videos up until January 29th of 2018, when I did, maybe it was January 27th, when I did my first What Makes This Song Great. I'm going to take a look here and tell you when it is here, because I can actually just look it up on here. If I go to my playlists, here we go. What Makes This Song Great? The first one was the Blink 182, which was done on, I'll tell you exactly when. I was wrong. January 23rd, 2018. All the Small Things. Then I did The Police. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic was the next one. Then Kid Charlemagne, Steely Dan. Then Nirvana. Then Pearl Jam. Then Tom Petty. Then who did I do? I did Perfect Circle, Judith. Then I did Rosanna. Then Soundgarden, Spoon Man. Then Metallica, Enter Sandman, then Alice in Chains, then Killing in the Name, Rage. Then I did STP. Then I did, what did I do? Did I do Tool? Then Stone Temple Pilots, and Foo Fighters, and Boston. Then Ariana Grande, then Rush. Then Van Halen, Smashing Pumpkins. System of a Down, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Peter Gabriel, David Bowie. I did, what did I do here? 9 Inch Nails, Radiohead, Coldplay, oh my God, Muse, Yes, Oasis, oh my God, Simon and Garfunkel, you name it. Breakdowns of all these songs. Periphery, I did progressive metal, all these different things. As far as the interviews that I did, I started with interviews honestly was Steve Vai. He was my first interview. I met Steve. Steve reached out to me the day after Dweezil Zappa, and Dweezil Zappa reached out to me. He left a comment on my video that had 3 comments on it. It was when I had about 2,000 subscribers, and when Dweezil was in here, I told him he's the first person to ever reach out to me. And I thought, oh, it can't be Dweezil Zappa. And I clicked on it. I went to his channel. Just like people saw that Lex Friedman was on here, and people were like, that's not Lex. And it is Lex. Okay, so the interviews. Okay, so here's some of the interviews that I've done. I'll just read them off here. This is in any different order or random order. Billy Strings, Sting, Kirk Hammett, Tom Emanuel, Pat Metheny, Dominic Miller, Steve Lukather, Matteo Mancuso, Yngwie. I did one with Nirvana, with Chris and Kim from Soundgarden, and Jack Endino, the great producer from Seattle, Greg Bissonette, Stuart Copeland, Andy Summers, Tim Henson from Polyphia, Mohini Day, Billy Corgan, David Gilmour, Rick Rubin, Michael McDonald, Butch Vig, Brendan O'Brien, Eric Johnson, Danny Carey, Derek Trucks, Dweezil Zappa, Brian May, Maynard James Keenan, Mike Dawes, Mateus Asado, George Benson, Michael Lomardian, John Petrucci. I have ones in here with Tim Pierce, my dear friend, but I've made so many videos with Tim. Paul Gilbert, Christopher Cross, Robbie Robertson, and John Densmore from The Doors, Alan Parsons, Mike Dawes, Kiko Loureiro from Megadeth, Jerry Cantrell, Keith Jarrett, one of the most proudest interviews, one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, the great Keith Jarrett, one of the greatest geniuses of all time. Stone Temple Pilots, Robert DeLeo, my dear friend. Another great friend of mine, Al Di Meola. I interviewed Beat, which is Adrian Ballou, Steve Vai, Tony Levin, and Danny Carey. Bernard Purdy, the Purdy Shuffle. Ted Gioia, who's a great music writer. Josh Freese, Marty Friedman, the gentleman from Pantera, Rex and Charlie and Zach, who are going to be in town playing with Metallica coming up the week after next, that I'll be at. Jimmy Webb, the great songwriter, Wichita lineman. Joe Satriani, Tosin Abasi, my dear friend. Steve Morse, Hans Zimmer, Joe Satriani, Steve Lukather again, Jeff Skunk Baxter, Larry Carlton, Julian Lage, Mike Mills from REM. My friend Dave Natal, who does front of house for the Rolling Stones and did front of house for Jeff Beck, who's a genius. Tony Levin, Greg Koch, who's the amazing guitar player. Love Greg. Steve Gadd, Bjorn Ulvaeus from ABBA, Matt Cameron from Soundgarden and from Pearl Jam, Tom Bukovac and Guthrie Trapp, Warren Haynes, John Schofield, Brad Maldau, Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins, John Anderson from Yes, Michael Beinhorn, who produced Super Unknown and tons of amazing records, Steven Wilson, producer, writer. Steven Wilson does everything. Miles Kennedy, Lee Scalar, my dear friend, Tori Amos, Frank Gambale, Mark Tremonti, Pliny, Bill Schnee, the great engineer who engineered Steely Dan, Asia, and many other famous records. Vinnie Colaiuta, a friend of mine for 40 years. Denny Diaz, who played the Do It Again solo and solos on, oh my God, so many great Steely Dan solos he did. Chuck Rainey, that played bass on 2,000 records and is on all those Steely Dan records. Keith Urban, like I said, Mike McCready and Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam. Robin Ford, Paul Reed Smith, Anthony Fantano, Adam Duritz from Counting Crows, Jordan Rudess, Thomas Newman, one of my favorite interviews. Tom Newman, the great film composer that did Shawshank Redemption, American Beauty, Finding Nemo, 1917, two of the James Bond movies. Oh my God, Tom Newman is a dear friend and one of my favorite composers, one of my favorite human beings, and has written some of the most beautiful music. I can listen to his soundtracks all day. Ron Carter, who's 88 now. That's one of I love that interview I did with Ron. I just interviewed Zed, producer, songwriter, DJ. Somebody said, just saw your interview. Notice the 4.99, saw my interview with Zed, notice 4.99 million subscribers, and scrolling down the comments, notice the stream. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Linux Gemini. I'm so bad at pronouncing things. Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind. Tom Scott, the great saxophonist that's on so many, and arranger. It's on so many great records. Yosho Stefan, incredible guitar player. Willow Smith. I love Willow. I think she's so talented. Bob Clearmountain, who's genius. If you want to know about mixing and you want to know about production and you don't know Bob Clearmountain, you should watch that, because I asked Bob Clearmountain everything that I always wanted to know about everything that Bob does. And he was so great. He was so great. The Moody Blues Justin Hayward that I just put out. Oh my God. It was so exciting interviewing Justin Hayward. I asked him, oh my, I got to listen to all these songs. He was probably sick of it. It was incredible. Victor Wooten, Kurt Rosenwinkel, my dear friend Butch Walker, who I've known forever, Chris Lord-Elgee, Adam Neely. I made so many videos with Adam. Ian Thornley from Big Wreck and from Thornley. Oh my God, Ian's so talented. The great jazz vibraphonist Gary Burton, legend. John Petrucci, Steve Jordan, Sinister Gates, Tom Holkenborg, Junkie XL, another great film composer. Kelly Slater, who's not only the greatest surfer, but an incredibly great guy that told me that if I came to his wave pool, he would teach me how to surf. I was like, I could never get up on a wave, no chance. Not with my bad shoulder, and that I'm working on. My shoulder's getting a lot better. Antonio Sanchez, Dennis Chambers, Gary Husband, who played on all the Alan Holdsworth records, and super talented. Chris Potter, Steve Hunt, and the list goes on and on. I've done a lot of interviews. I have over probably 150 million views on those. Aiden Essen, the great Aiden Essen, who's one of my biggest influences, that I will make a video on Aiden, who to me is one of the greatest improvisers of all time. If you don't know Aiden, I'll make a video about Aiden. Another one, but I made a number of videos about him early in my channel. Nuno Betancourt. Did I list Nuno on it? I went over Nuno. Oh my God. I've had Nuno on my channel so many times. I talk to Nuno all the time. Come on. Nuno, forget it. Nuno can play anything. It's so, I've seen Nuno play a number of times, and he is just so insanely good. His groove, and he can play anything. What do you say about Nuno? Unreal. Nuno is just, my God, it's scary, honestly. Go watch any live. If you pick out any live clip of Nuno playing, go to any gig that Nuno played on any extreme gig, anything Nuno's played on, the interview I did with him, and you ask Nuno anything, and he kills it. But when he's playing with a group, his ensemble playing, his rhythm playing, oh my God, his lead playing, his groove, God, Nuno's a genius, straight up. Love you, Nuno. You're the best. Nuno's always sending me videos of stuff too. Rick, have I ever considered interviewing composers like Terry Riley or John Adams? Absolutely. I want to do that honestly in the next 5 million subscribers. If I can ever get to 10 million, I hope to get to 5 million today. I'm almost at 998, and I'm staying on this live stream until I get there, or until my voice gives out. I think we can get there in about an hour. If you share this video and you hit like right now, if you hit like right now, you can help me get there, because YouTube sends it out to more people. The more it has likes and comments, this has a lot of comments on it. The more interaction there is, the more YouTube will send out the live stream to people. Really, to more of my subscribers too, because it doesn't know who to send it out to at first, because it's kind of a general post, not any of the stream until I hit 5 million. If I made a video that's like, I'm going to break down this Beatles song, well, it knows who to put it out to. Somebody said I picked up the bundle. V-Spot at a sale a few days ago. Time to learn a few chords. There you go. Learn some chords. Get my beginner guitar video. I started beginner guitar just like everyone. I did it with a broken ankle in 1976 during the Olympics, my first week of summer vacation. I thought it's the worst thing that ever happened to me. I finished, it was like the second day of summer vacation after 8th grade, and I'm out at Potter Park in Fairport, New York. And I was running through this field near the basketball court, and I went to change directions, and my foot was in a big divot, and I turned my body around. I literally turned my ankle backwards. I can remember it was yesterday. I rode my bike home with one foot. Now they didn't have, this is like a bike with a banana seat. So it's like you push it, then you get the top of your foot and you pull it around and you just keep going. And it was massively swollen up. And I got to my mom or my dad must have taken me immediately to the hospital or something. And there was a guy, Dr. Carrier, his name was. I'm cursed with remembering all this stuff. He was my orthopedic guy. And he said, he x-rayed it. He's like, oh yeah, it's broken. You're going to be in a cast for the whole summer. They didn't have walking casts or anything. And he said, we're going to put one on now. We might have to put another one on if it gets too swollen. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be he said, you're going to be in a cast for the entire summer. And I was so depressed because I'm sitting there on my couch, and the 76 Olympics happened then during that summer. And I remember sitting there, and I had a guitar that my brother Mike had in the corner that he got from one of his buddies for $1. It was called a Global plywood top. He got it literally for $1. And he had the Mel Bay beginner guitar thing that had the pictures of chords. And I was like, okay, I'm sitting here and I am, let me learn a few chords. I got nothing else to do. So I pick up this guitar and I start playing. And I was like, okay, E minor, and I'm looking, and this is the picture of it. Okay, this is how you play E minor chord, D chord, and an A minor chord. And then all of a sudden I'm like, A minor, that sounds like Angie. It's like, that's got to be that's the chord from Angie. And then E major was right in there. And then it's like, wait a minute, that sounds like, that's the second chord in Angie, but that's not quite right. So I go and I put on Angie, and I was like, and then I heard da da, and I remember like searching for the notes. I know nothing about guitar, right? But I play that chord, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely Angie, and I was like, that sounds like the second chord. That's not quite right. And I was like, and I said, well, it's got that note in the chord. And then I'm like, okay. And I hear that note. And I started being able to figure it out. Now, I didn't know the suspended chords. Because I didn't know bars yet. By the end of the summer, I knew that. Okay, we got less than 2,000 subscribers left. Hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 5 million today. We're going to happen to it. I'm not getting off this live stream till we hit 5 million. Boom! Boom! So I spent that whole summer, and it was just everything that I learned. What did I learn first? E minor, D, A minor, G. Then I learned, E major, E7, A7, D7, G7, all the cowboy chords. And then it was like B minor, and it was this B minor. Then it was this. Then it was F major, but F major was this. Then it was like later on in the book, bar chords. Okay. Once I had B minor and F major, then I could start figuring stuff out. Then I was like, okay. And then I started being able to, whatever the records that came out in 75 and 76, Night at the Opera in 1975, Boston's first record, 1976, Peter Frampton Comes Alive, 1976. This is pre-Van Halen. It's pre-The Police. It's pre-The Cars. They're all 78. All those big records, Van Halen, they all came out in 78. So it's like the stuff 75, 76. Then Hey Joe, all the thing, Hendrix. I'm going back any guitar record that I had. And we had this thing called Superstars of the 70s. It's funny, my brother John still has it. And I took a picture. He had one of the records in his office at work. I took a picture when I was home. I'll find it here because it was right around my birthday. Superstars of the 70s. Then I started going through. They had 8 albums. And I would just go through and start learning all those. Okay, what are the songs that were on Superstars of the 70s? I'll tell you. Here's the songs. One Way Out, Allman Brothers. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Aretha Franklin. Stay With Me, The Faces. Chicago, Graham Nash. Happy, The Rolling Stones, my favorite Keith Richards song. Lucky Man, ELP. Oh my God, these were amazing. School's Out, Alice Cooper. Summer Breeze, Seals and Crofts. Surf's Up, The Beach Boys. Sail Away, Randy Newman. Both Sides Now, Judy Collins. Tightrope Ride, The Doors. These are some of the songs, but there's a lot more songs on there. There were 8. That was just 2 sides of one of the 8 LPs. And I would just learn song after song after song after song. When I came back after summer vacation, because then I met this kid, Andy Creaney. I talked about this in my video I just released about going back to my college or my elementary school, Northside School, doing the tour through that and taking the Seashore test, which was a music aptitude test in 3rd grade in 1971. So when Goat's Head Soup came out and Angie came out, when Zeppelin 4 came out, think about what came out in 1971. Some of the greatest records of all time came out between 71 and 72. Can't Buy a Thrill came out in 1972, Steely Dan. This was an amazing time for music. So these were the things that I learned. And then when I was, and And then I met this kid, Andy Carini, whose brother, John, was in this band called Elias that was an amazing high school band. One of the best I've ever heard, period. Just incredible high school band. John Carini, Jim Baruto. Somebody mentioned Phil Nero in the comments section. Phil was a singer for Talus. His name was Phil Sampignero. Phil passed away a few years ago. I met Phil one time in 2014. Elias did a reunion gig back in Fairport, and I went back for it. But when I met John, his brother Andy had me learn Long Distance Runaround was one of the first songs. He had all these songs on this thing, 9 songs on this cassette that he gave me. And I was supposed to learn all these songs. I learned Don't Take Me Alive by Steely Dan. And Andy's brother John couldn't believe that I learned all these things. He's like, and he's the one that I talked about this in the video. He says, "Do you know the pentatonic scale?" And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "It's this scale." I said, "Yeah, I know that scale. I knew it because I learned Hey Joe." And he said, "Well, there's 5 positions of that." And I said, "What are they?" He said, "Well, the next position's up is this." And the next position is this. Same notes. Start here. And then up here is the next one. And then the next one, the 5th. And then it starts over. So this was in 1970, 77, something like that. And John wrote those out for me. He didn't need to write them out. I memorized them right then. I've known him since then. This is the stuff that's in my courses, in my guitar courses. It's in my Beato book interactive. I show those different positions. It's in my Quick Lessons Pro course. And then I learned arpeggios and stuff. I got a teacher. I started with Tom Rizzo, who was John's teacher. Who was I took 2 lessons with Tom. And then he gave me a guy named Mark Mineta. And Mark, he taught me for a couple months, and then he went on tour. Then I got a tour. Then I got a teacher, Glenn Cummings, who was left-handed. And Glenn taught me things like arpeggios. And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Arpeggios?" He said, "Like every other note of the chord. Take an A major 7 chord. That has an arpeggio. It's the notes in the chord. A, C sharp, E, G sharp, okay? So that's A major 7 it's A major 7 chord. That's the arpeggio that goes with it. And this is an A7 chord. Okay? Well. And this is A minor 7. And this is A minor 7 flat 5. And this is A diminished 7. And so he taught me all those arpeggios. And he was like, "Okay, well, now you have to learn them on the 5th string." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "This is D major 7. Okay? It's hard to play with the guitar up like this. But excuses, what are excuses? They're just excuses. Then you got D7. Let me actually play it properly here. Let me put my strap on so that I don't screw these up. So I can get the guitar at its proper height. Oh my God. This strap that I have here is made by a company in Spain. and it's called, people always ask me about this. It's called No, oh my God. I can't even read that. I can't read it. It's too dark. I'm going to tell you, some people think this is a green screen. I'm going to show you that it's not a green screen here. I'm going to go back here and knock over some stuff. I'm going to go back so I can tell you what the strap is called, because it's clearer on this one. Oh, it's called Right On. Right On guitar straps. I got a newer one. This is like a my chair doesn't roll very well. Probably should get a new chair at some point. I got one that goes along with, this is actually cool because it goes with Pelham Blue guitars. Anyways, it's a Spanish company. I think it's a really cool. Let me see if I can get my chair up higher. You know what? Since we're trying to get to 5 million here right now, let me get this little higher stool so you guys can see. So we're talking about arpeggios. I don't know if you're still on here, Lex, but do some arpeggios for you here. So D7, so D major 7 here. So he always told me play the chord, then play the arpeggio. D dominant 7. Then D minor 7. Then D minor 7 flat 5. Then D diminished 7. You guys sound that sounds like Yngwie Malmsteen. Well, those guys would do those kind of arpeggios. So this is when I learned all this. I started learning all this stuff, and then he would say things like, you can play these arpeggios. You don't have to play them just up and down. So I would learn them like say D minor 7 flat 5. Oh, and he said you can use these arpeggios over different chords. So. Put a B flat in the bass of that, it becomes a B flat 9 chord, right? So all those different things, those are in my arpeggio course, my arpeggio masterclass. Dean says half diminished arpeggios sound great. They do. Half diminished arpeggios, like the half diminished, are tricky to finger. I'm trying to get in the. Which way do I have to move? I guess I got to move this way. Confusing. It's like a mirror here. So A minor 7 flat 5 here, half diminished. So it's hard to do these things when you start doing them in intervals. Those things, to really get all those weird patterns and everything, those finger combinations are very, very tricky. Anyways, so those things I learned back when I was in high school. And, but I would say one of the most important learning times for me was between 1994 and 1999. When I moved here to Atlanta in November of 1999, I had $200 with me. I moved here to start a band. I was actually on my way to move to Austin, Texas, but I never made it. I stopped here to have lunch with my old college roommate, Doug, who went to grad school at Emory. And Doug convinced me to stay. So to make a living, I taught at a music store here. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get up to 5 million here. We have 1,759 left. Can we get there? We can get there. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. So, anyways, so between 1994 and 1999, I taught 12,000 private lessons in a small practice room. Subi, what's up? You're looking forward to breaking a whopping 400 subs this year. Subi's been following my channel since the very beginning. Literally. This channel and Rick Beato too, which is my second channel, which is almost at 900,000 subscribers. And hopefully it'll get to 1 million in the next couple months. Why would I move to Atlanta? A cat named Dog just asked. I just said it because I stopped to have lunch with my old college roommate. And Ian says, congrats. Would love me to interview Billy Cox. Yeah. Who played with Hendrix. That would actually be a great interview. Okay. Oh, so I taught these 12,000 lessons. And during those 12,000 lessons, I taught songs. That's all I taught, by ear to students. And I would teach every song off a record. And I had students that were punk rock students. I had people that wanted to learn folk tunes. I had people that wanted to learn, every Steely Dan song, every Nirvana song, every Pearl Jam song, every Soundgarden song, every Korn song, every Beatles song, every Stones song, every Black Sabbath song, every Police song. And I would go through records. I'd have students for years, and we would literally learn every song off their favorite group's records. Old man, thank you so much for that. Homer Bloody Simpson. Lex and I would love you to talk to Tame Impala. Go, Kevin. I was... Not only is Kevin Parker super talented, every time I go into there's this place I like to go to, this flea market here in Atlanta that I like to go and walk around. And every time I walk in, I'm always like, oh, what is this? Music's great. And it's always a Tame Impala playlist. Or it's not a playlist of theirs. It's like a channel of things that are, I don't know if it's their YouTube Pandora channel. I don't know what it is. It's very funny though. It's always that. It's always like, I always like the groups that they have on there, It's like, oh, this sounds good. It's like perfect for this. Love to see a Robert Fripp interview. I'd love to interview Robert Fripp. Since I've interviewed all the American people from King Crimson, I like to get the British ones. If you unsubscribe and subscribe, Richard said, people think all it does is remove it and add it back. Okay, I'm drinking an Atlanta beverage here, so I know some of you are going to be like, don't drink that, it's terrible for you, but let's see here. Do more videos on film scoring, please. Will there be a John Mayer interview? I've reached out to John about it. I knew John back, I met John in 1997. Last time I saw him was in 2005. And I hope to have him on. Alex and Getty. Oh my God. Anybody knows Alex and Getty or how to get in touch with Russia's management or their managers? Let me know. I'd love to interview those guys. Good. Let's see here. John Schofield. I interviewed John Schofield. I love Sco. He's the best. Let's see here. Okay, so let me I was gonna I thought I haven't played any music or anything yet. But maybe I'll play some music here too and talk about it. Will I interview Paul McCartney? I hope so. Roland Orzabal? Oh my God, I'd love to interview him. I'd love to interview Kurt and Roland. It would be great. The Tears for Fears guys. Get Neil shown in the studio. Oh my God. I've texted with Neil a million times. He is touring all the time with Journey. It's really, Neil is one of my favorite guitar players. I will be psyched. I got to make that a point to make that happen. I mean, come on. I've been able to interview the greatest guitarists, bass players, drummers, singers, everything. I'm incredibly lucky. I got to, I didn't set out to do any of this. I didn't set out to get 5 million subscribers. You don't set out to do anything like that. You just kind of go and just do one thing after the next. And, but if I could get Nigel Tufnell on, that would be amazing. Let's see here. Jeff Berlin, someone said, I interviewed Jeff. Jeff's on go way back on my channel. Interviewed Jeff way early on. Oasis interview. Well, I hope to interview Noel. I connected with Noel about it. I'm sure it'll happen. It'll happen this year. Let's see here. What should I play here that I'll tell you what I'm going to play here. I'm just going to play something real and because it's one of the things I love to listen to, because to me this is just some of the most brilliant guitar playing. It really doesn't get better than this. How? How? The pitch. Where Were You? This off Jeff Beck's Garage Shop record. Man. How? My God. Come on. Oh. And then I love this lick. Then wow. The tuning. That's Jeff Beck. And then, right here. Oh! Wow. That's chills right there. That is, you know, I gotta say, not sure it gets much better than that, right? I got to meet Jeff Beck because my friend Dave was doing front of house. And I got there for sound check. It was October of 2023. And Jeff always played the complete song in soundcheck. It was always like a performance. Let's see here if I can find it here. To go back 2023. October 2023. I got to meet Jeff on stage. I told the story. But they played sound check. And Dave said, "You want to go up on stage and check out Jeff's gear?" And I said, "Yeah." And he had his tech, Sean, his name was. And so I go up on stage and I go over and I look at. I said, "You mind if I take pictures of it?" So I took pictures of his pedal board, of his guitar amps, of his guitars, and then Jeff walked out on stage because he had gone to the bus, and I said, "Does he ever come back out?" "No, he never comes back out. He won't come back out till the show." And there it is. So wait, that was Ringo. Did I see Ringo and them right at the same time? This is amazing. I can't find it here. So Jeff came back out and says, he says, I freaked out, honestly, when he walked out on stage. And he says, "How'd my guitar sound in sound check?" And I said, or they introduced me to him and shook his hand and said, "How did my guitar sound?" "How did your guitar sound?" "Sounded amazing to me." And he says, "What amp am I playing through? Was I playing through for the mains?" And he had two different amps. He had a JCM, he had a JMP 212. He had a JCM 800 212. And then he had the same thing, but in a half stack. And they were facing back away from the front of house. Okay. And the one he was playing through that night was a JCM 800 front one, 212. And so he starts playing. He plugs in his guitar and starts playing. And I'm probably 5 feet away from him. And it was stunningly loud, but sounded amazing. And was it 2022? He died in 2023. Okay, so it was 2022. No wonder I can't find it on here. It seems like forever ago now. God, has it been 20? Has it been that long now? Let me see here. I'm looking in 2022 now. Oh yeah. I think that's right. So he played for probably 10 minutes or so, and then he walks off stage, puts his guitar, hands the guitar to his tech, goes back on the bus and comes back out. Okay, I found it. It was 2022. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been that long. And he comes back out with a practice amp that he had in his bus. And he said, "Can we mic this up?" And they mic'd it up. And it was some digital amp with effects and stuff like that. And guess what it sounded like? Sounded like Jeff Beck. Exactly the same. I mean, amazing, right? It's just a completely different amp, digital amp, and it sounded just like Jeff Beck. Okay, so here's a sound check. I have a little bit of it here. Let's see here. Is that all I have? Ah. I have this. Oh, yeah. This is October 1st, 2022. So Jeff played every song in soundcheck until the end. He didn't start playing and say, "Okay, well, we got it." No, every song was a performance. It was amazing. Honestly, amazing. Thank you, Professor. 5 million is ridiculous. Well, we got to get there. We have 2,400 to go. Oh my God. Am I going to be on here forever? Did I ever see Prince live? I saw Prince in Boston in 1986, something like that. 1986, something like that. And not only did I see him play, I saw him go into the club from the backstage. I'm not sure why, but one of my friends was like, knew his manager or something like that. I was in grad school at the time in Boston. And I saw him get out of his car and go into the club, or go into the venue, not the club. What did Aaron say? Not 2,400, 1,400 to go. 1,400. Aaron is correcting me here. Okay, 14. Come on, we got 1,400 to go. We can do it. Hit like. Do it. Hit like right now, everybody. Make it go crazy, because they'll share it out to more people. And if you guys share the live stream here We can get there. We can get there. It's I wonder how long I think we can get there. Come on, we can get there in 30 minutes. If it's I think we can get there in 30 minutes. Art of Guitar, what's up? Let's see here. What do I have in my notes here that I'm going to talk about? So I thought about. I have some other ideas for videos that I've been wanting to make. There's a lot of parallels. I filmed a little segment with a friend of mine, Patrick, who has a Instagram channel that I follow. That he about the movie business, and there's a lot of parallels with what's going on in film and TV now that happened with the music industry back in the early 2000s. Scary parallels, and the movie industry was able to avoid what's happened until now, pretty much avoid what happened to the music industry. The music industry had a hole put in the boat with Napster in 1999 and was not able to recover, and I think that there's a lot of similarities between the two industries with the music business essentially from 2000 to 2005 as what's going on right now with the music industry. So I think that's so there's a video in there for that. I've shot part of it already. I'm going to put it out probably sometime this week. I'm just kind of still forming my thoughts on it. I think that the film and TV industry here in Atlanta was a huge thing. I mean, if you go back, what's up, Emily? If you go back to 6 years ago, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, a lot of my friends, I got my friend Marcus that is great drummer. Marcus has been in some videos of mine, dear friend of mine, and Marcus does sound for movies. And he was working on The Walking Dead and a lot of the things, Marvel movies. It was all going on here, 2010, 2015, so much stuff was happening here in Atlanta. And a lot of it's just dried up. And it's really similar. It just reminds me of what was going on in the music industry. It wasn't me. Thank you. Appreciate that. I noticed it from as a producer. So it started that, when I first started, bands, major label bands in 2002 that I work with would have budgets of $350,000. Could be even $450,000 with a new band. And that would include studio time. As a producer, I'd get $3,000 a track. So if there was 10 tracks, $30,000 payment, plus 3 points on the record. The points, percentage points, are based on, they would work out to be about 30 cents a record. Now, the way that it worked then is that the way it works is that you get the percentage points, but you don't get paid until they've recouped your advance. So you get $30,000, but they're only paying you out of your percentage, right? So your 30 cents a record, that all has to be recouped before you get paid a cent. So it may be that the records never recoup. Even a record that would go platinum, double platinum would recoup, and you'd get some money from the record sales, depending on how much they spent on the record. So then 2004, maybe you're getting $150 a record. 2005, you're getting $75,000 a record. And it's like, Mo, you can't record it in the studio. Then we were working here after that, 2005 on. So not only were we working here, there was no equipment budget. There was no tour support budget. There was no budget for a mixer. So it was like, okay, Rick, earlier, it's like, I make a record here, LA, New York, wherever. They pay for for all the stuff going there, any equipment rentals, anything that you need would be part of this budget, and you'd pay for it. And then it's like, oh, we can't hire a drum tech company. You're going to have to tech the drums, Rick. So then I would tech the drums myself. What does that mean? I would change the heads, I'd tune the drums, do all this kind of stuff. Instead of hiring drum doctor Ross Garfield out in LA, and then he would do that, right? But it was very expensive to hire a drum tech for making a record. Sometimes you'd spend 2 weeks recording the drum tracks. I wouldn't spend 2 weeks, but a lot of people would. So then eventually it's like, okay, you got 50 grand. There's no money for rentals. There's no money for anything. And you have to turn in the record that I mix myself. There's no money for a mixer, nothing. So that was it. And no equipment rentals, no money for drum rentals, no money for anything, no money for a mixer. Not only would I have to do that, no session players. I'd have to play anything that wasn't on there. And I would mix the records myself. And that was it. And then eventually it's like, then there is no budgets at all. And now people make their own records, and they get them on Spotify, or I'm sorry, they get them on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever. And then hopefully, you get a viral video from it, or a bunch of viral videos, or people use a section of your song in there. And then it goes to Spotify, and then the record labels come to you. And then people figured out that, okay, well, I don't need to give the record labels, normally a record deal was 13%. That you would get. The artists would get 13%. Record labels would get 87%. Okay. So that 87% was what Levi said. Thank you for the courses, purchasing and reaching them, and really enjoying them. Thank you, Levi. I appreciate that. Got a sale going on right now. Since I don't have any sponsors, the only commercials I do are for my own courses that I sell. And that's how I afford to give away, have all these interviews, videos, everything I do on my channel goes up on YouTube for free. All you gotta do is sit through the ads that they have. Unless you get YouTube Premium, then you never see ads. I have YouTube Premium, and then and I pay for all that stuff myself out of pocket for all the interviews to pay all the guys that work here and everything to present the stuff on YouTube, because I believe that these things are important to produce and to put out there, whether it's interview with with David Gilmour, or an interview with Joe Satriani or Nuno Betancourt or Chuck Rainey or Keith Jarrett or Pat Metheny or Bernard Purdy or Steve Gadd or Vinnie Colaiuta, all these people that I've had on, George Benson, these are important. It's important to tell the stories and put the things out there. And I basically take the money that I make from selling my courses. So things to improve you as a musician helps fund everything on the channel, so I can bring these things to you. And that's it. And I don't have to be reading a script and having people, everybody that I don't begrudge anything, people that read scripts and have sponsored videos. I think it's great. A lot of my friends do it. A lot of all the podcasts I listen to do it. They have sponsors. That's how they do it. But I want people to know that when I give my opinion on something, it's an opinion based on something that is something I believe in. If I talk about a piece of gear or something, it's something I use, right? You guys know what kind of gear I use. It's all behind me. The things that the only thing that I've ever sponsored, I said it earlier in the stream, was my signature guitar with Gibson, and all my proceeds go to charity, and the charity is Save the Music. I'm a huge proponent of public school music programs. I think that they should be increased. When I made my video this week about my old elementary school, I talked to my old orchestra director, Mr. Brown, Ken Brown. And he told me he's been retired for years, but he started in 1969, I think it was, in the Fairport schools. And Ken's got to be 75 to 78, something like that. He's still working. He still works at a string shop. And he told me that in the Fairport Central School District, they have 500 string instruments because everybody gets their own school instrument of any instrument. Oboes, tubas, clarinets, violins, violas, cellos, basses. The cellos and basses, you had one at school and one at home. I had forgotten that. That's insane. That is insane to have kids have those. Flutes, clarinets, trumpets, trombones, everything is done, is provided for the students. And that is amazing. And some of the people noticed when I zoomed in, I have this record that I played on in 1978. It's the first record I ever played on was in 1978. There's a hilarious comment that was on the video that I got to read it because I don't get to respond to comments very often. I don't really get a chance to look at comments, but one of the comments I thought was hilarious, and it said, I'll find it here. It said, think about 1978. What records came out in 1978, right? So I responded to, it was like, hold on. Hey, Rick, damn shame Van Halen's debut took the attention away from your album. I love that. I thought about that. I was like, oh my God, the first record I ever played on was in 1978. I have it right here. No, Tom put it in the other room. I played in the high school wind ensemble record. I remember when they came in with a reel-to-reel tape, and I was like, wow, that is amazing. What is that? Little did I know that was in my future. It's, yeah, 1978. It's crazy. There's a picture of me in there, And when they zoomed in, I zoomed in on the record. It has my name, and somebody asked, it has percussion John Beck or timpani John Beck. Is it? And they said, is that the John Beck from Eastman, who's one of the most famous percussion teachers? It was his son, who's also a professional percussionist and a college professor, John Beck Jr. And then there's Patsy Dash that was who was it? It says Pat Dash on there, but she's a famous percussionist too. Those are the only names you could see. So there's a bunch of people that Frampton Comes Alive was not in there. Cat Named Dog, 1978. Frampton Comes Alive was 1976. But like I said earlier, the Cars' first record, the Police's first record, Van Halen's first record. There's a lot of big records. Dire Straits' first record. Pretty great year. Ryan's like, have I always had white hair? I have not always had white hair. Matter of fact, let's see here. I'll show you pictures here. I had black hair. Let's see. Hold on. This is me and Dylan. That's me with black hair and Dylan when he was 1. You guys can see that? See that? That's me with black hair. Amazing, right? This is me when I was in my band Billionaire with black hair. Look at that. Look at that black hair there. My hair was black too. My kids are like, do you dye your hair white? I was like, why would I dye my hair white? Let's see here. I've got some more pictures here. It's hard to find pictures of me with black hair. I have to go way back. That's me with a black beard. So black hair and a black beard. Check out that beard. That's me. I probably have 20 something there, I'd say. Yeah, I'm probably I'm probably about 20 29, something like that there. Maybe 30. Probably 30 there. There's my dad. Dad was born 1919. Mike, the best. And then, yeah, I don't have that many pictures of me with white hair. Those are the only ones I can find right offhand. Oh, there's a picture of me and my brother John playing guitar together. When we're, I'm 16 there, I think. No, 15. I'm 15 there. He's probably, he's 11. Black hair right there. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's useless. Okay, I'll tell you how long I've been on the stream. 2 hours and 9 minutes is how long we've been on the stream here. 2 hours and 9 minutes, and we are 1,120 subscribers away from 5 million. Wow, I can't even fathom that. What about a segment where you review artists with less than 1,000 listeners? I had a video of my friend Alan. He had 24 listeners on Spotify. I made a video on it. I do that. I do it a lot. I'm trying to scroll up on the thing. Come on, invite people here. It says 100,000 views. That's amazing. 100,000 views of this video. Woo! Come on, we got to get to 200,000 views. We're almost there. Hit subscribe. Tell all your friends. Call your friends. Share the video. Tell them to hit subscribe. This is so. Once again, did your hair get white fast? Yes. So I'm the only person in my family with really white hair, and I'm the second youngest. You saw my dad there? My dad was like 60 years old in that picture, 50-something years old. He didn't even have all black hair. He didn't even have all white hair. It's amazing. This is my dad when he was 60. He did not, I mean, I'm 63. I've had white hair since I started this channel at 54. Crazy, right? Do 999. I'm subscribed for 8 years. Okay, put in the comments section how many people have been subscribed since, let's say, 2016 or 2017. Anybody subscribe then? Anybody subscribed since 2017? Let's see here. 2016. Whoa. Holy smokes. That's what? Put in the year that you subscribed. Oh my God. Wow. I saw somebody say something about hair gene. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. 1798, nice. Just for men, Rick. 2018, a few years ago, 2017. Look at those 2017s. Whoa. Amazing. Really amazing. By the way, I have a couple shows coming up months from now, but I'm doing a show in San Francisco. I think I know the date of it. I'm doing a live show in the fall in September. It's not been announced yet, but I'm going to say it right now. Pretty sure it's on. I have a gig at Vanderbilt University on September 11th, and then in San Francisco on September 26th at the what's up? I can't remember the name of the place. Come on, Layla. So Layla's here. Come in here with me. Come over here.
I want to be on.
Layla, get over here. Layla was 3 when I started. She's going to come back. Layla was 3 when I started my channel. Lennon was 3. Lennon was 7. Dylan was 9 when I started my YouTube channel. Okay, so we're almost down into the 1,000 mark here. Show us a guitar. Well, I have this guitar. So since I started the channel, I had 43 subscribers when I started the channel, and then this is my prototype guitar. This is the first one that Gibson made of my signature guitar, and it says very little wear on it because I don't play on it. I play on it a lot, but there's a lot of the guitars I use here, and I'm gonna come on for a second, Layla. Say hi.
Mm-hmm.
Come say hi. That's Layla.
Hi.
You want to say anything, Layla?
Well,
You're kind of where the counter is. You see that, Layla? Can you move over here?
yeah.
Move over here. Let me move here. So Layla is just finishing 6th grade this week. She has 4 days of school left. Not school tomorrow, though, right? Or on Monday?
Yeah, for Memorial
Wait, is
Day.
today Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, today's Sunday. So we're off tomorrow. And I start a lot of my videos where I talk about Layla, about listening to music in the car on the way to school. And I need 1,020 more subs, Layla.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Will I get there or what?
Yeah.
How long?
Hopefully.
30 minutes?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
I'm gonna go now.
Okay. I'll see ya.
Tell me when you hit five though.
Well, why don't you get on the stream upstairs, Layla?
I know. I'll be watching.
How can you tell the real Gibson from a counterfeit? I have no idea. You know, I know how to play guitars, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, what do you see my interview with Brad Paisley? We were in Brad's workshop. Brad is not only a phenomenal guitarist and singer and songwriter, but he is incredibly knowledgeable about all things guitar and about relicking guitars and stuff. And it was fascinating. We go into his shop, we do an interview, then we go into his shop in his studio. He's got a shop in the basement, and he's got all these Telecasters and all different types of guitars that you can't tell. He's got all these tellies that are from the 50s, all these Paisley tellies and stuff from the 60s and from the 60s, and you can't tell which ones are ones that he relic, because it'd be like, oh, this one has a new body with a 53 neck on it, or this one has this and that. Oh my God, I haven't even gone through I've not even gone through all the footage. We filmed for about probably 5 hours or so. It was so fun. Is Layla learning guitar? Layla plays some guitar. Layla plays the drums, plays percussion in school, and she does taekwondo, and she's Layla's great kid. All my kids are great kids. I'm biased. What are you gonna say, right? No, they are. They're incredibly good kids. Okay, so we have less than 1,000 subscribers. We have, 900 and, oh my gosh, 985. Is that right? 985? Oh my God, less than 1,000. Oh, we're gonna get there. Wow, come on, let's do it. We're at 2 hours and 19 minutes. We can do it under 3 hours. Wow. Layla's much better than Don Henley. I don't know, Don. Guthrie Govan interview when? I hope Guthrie that I can get Guthrie on the channel soon. I've met Guthrie. He's the nicest guy too. And Marco and Brian, his bandmates, are incredibly great guys too. Ron Bumblefoot, come on, man, come down. I want to have Ron, who's one of the greatest guitarists that I've ever heard, and genius. And I want Ron to come on the channel. Ron, please come down. Let's do it. Genius he is. And I don't say that. Okay, so I was doing a live stream on Instagram. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago. And Ron was in the chat, and you could add people to the thing. So I added him to it, and we're talking. And so during our conversation, that was like 45 minutes long. I don't know how it came up, but UK's In the Dead of Night we were talking about, that has Eddie Jobson, John Wetton, Bill Bruford, and Alan Holdsworth on that record that came out. First record, self-titled UK 1978. And the first track is In the Dead of Night. And so Ron was like, he had his double neck guitar that's a fretless and a fretted and fretless. I think that's what you were playing, Ron, in there. And he said, I used to know he played the keyboard lick and the guitar riff at the same time with the two hands. It was insane. I'm going to play this part that he played. Hold on here. In the Dead. He's like, oh, I used to be able to play it. And then he played it. I said, come on. And of Night. Let's see here. I'm going to play you the part that he played at the same time. You're going to say, come on. He played it without even, like, I mentioned it, and he played it right off the top of his head. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, this part, I think it was coming up here. Right here. It's the next section. We played this. This next part with the keyboard, listen, right here. He played that and the riff together with it. He's like playing all these parts at the same time. It was insane. And if you don't know, oh, Bill. Listen to those top Rototoms pan. Come on, if you don't know this, you're not a prog rocker. 1978, another record that came out. Ron, when you come here, please play that again. Oh, forget it. Now here comes the guitar solo. Okay, I'm going to say this about the guitar solo before it plays. I saw STP play, I don't know how many, years and years ago. And Dean DeLeo quoted this solo in one of the STP songs. And I was thinking to myself, am I the only person in the audience that knows that Dean quoted the opening of this solo you're going to hear? Yes, Alan Mulder will be on the list. I will interview Alan. I've been in touch with him. So listen to the beginning of this solo. Dean plays the beginning of this solo in the solo that he did live. So anyways, here we go. Holdsworth. Check it out. Woo! This is the dynamics he plays. Oh, and then oh my God. And this right here. Listen when he plays in back of the vocal. Okay, so this UK record is, if you don't know it, it's absolutely beautiful. This first record. There's some, you really should listen to it. There's one of the few times that Holdsworth plays acoustic guitar. Check it out. Nevermore. Oh. Listen to this. Oh, forget it. And then that's the first time I ever heard chords like that too, voicings like that. Because guitar players, I mean, some guitar players would play stuff like that, but like the beginning of the song, he plays these this beautiful voicings like that. If you go back and listen again, check it out. Listen. Those kind of voicings, I never heard those. I never heard those kind of voicings like that before I heard this record. There's a there's a song on here called 30 Years. I'm gonna play it here. Hold on, I have to tell. I think this is kind of funny. So I'll do these videos where I'll do a countdown list or something, and then I'll always find a way to put on some obscure fusion person. Like, no matter what the list is, I'll always try to find a way that I can put Holdsworth in there or whoever it is, somebody that you wouldn't expect to have in there. just so that, just as an excuse to do that. Even if it's a video on rock musicians, I'll always put, or something, I'll always put some fusion person or jazz person or something like that. But this song's called 30 Years. I always thought this was beautiful. Check out the changes in this. I listened to this song the day I turned 30 in 1992. Keep hitting subscribe. Share to your friends. Oh.
Chasing rainbows for a lifetime left to go. Shadows from the sun.
Run into traces. I love that. Deep chords painting pictures. Yes. And then listen to this little resolution here. And then. And then. Ba 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 ba. Wash away. Nah. I love this. And then, woo, beautiful. Then, amazing. Wow. Oh, come on. That's amazing. Oh, here we go. Well, sharp 9, sharp 5 chord there. Come on. Somebody said, can we call this modern classical music? Yes. The beginning of that is modern classical music, or it's modern classical music of 50 years ago. That's very much the harmony of Wayne Shorter, of people, you know, that a lot of polytonal, bitonality, you would call that, where it's like triads over bass notes and stuff like that. And this record really opened my ears to that. You know, it was records of this. It was there were songs like this, and Holdsworth's music that happened a little bit later. But really, songs like this, music of ECM records, Pat Metheny's, you know, Bright Size Life and Watercolors, and the White album that he did. And then the music of Wayne Shorter and of Herbie Hancock from the '60s, and then you know, it was those the music of Keith Jarrett that I heard these kind of sounds that were that really Klaus Ogerman, Michael Brecker, Cityscapes. Great call there that came out in 1982. To me, that is just, you know, it's here's the thing is that I have a pretty diverse let me type in Cityscape City. This is the first record. This is the first record I ever got taken down by YouTube. I made a video where I played this music and it got taken down on YouTube, and I didn't know what happened. And I played this in 2016 because I talked about meeting Mike Brecker in 1999 at Avatar Studios in New York City. Avatar Studios is actually now called the Power Station. That's where I interviewed Pat Metheny. But I met Mike Brecker. He was recording a record in Studio C, and I was working with Kevin Shirley, my good friend Kevin Shirley, that I need to have on my channel, the great producer, mixer, engineer, an old friend of mine. I've not covered Cult of Personality or Living Color, Ven Thrak, but at some point I will. But I met Mike Brecker when he was walking down the hall there. And I told the story of getting to know him over the course of a couple weeks. And I talked to him every day that week. And he said, the next day he's like, hey, I got the band coming in. He was doing a record with Pat Metheny, with Elvin Jones. Who else was on this? Maybe, I can't remember if it was, trying to remember who was on that record. It was recorded in 99. But I met those guys. I met Elvin Jones. But I remember he invited me to come listen to a tune. And it was a minor blues. It was like an A flat, something like that. And it was him and the engineer and producer. And he asked me, so I listened to this thing, and I said, he goes, what do you think? And I said, I really like it. But I feel like that the sax is getting really compressed when you went up to the A flat altissimo note. And he was like, oh my God, I was just saying this. And the producer gave me the dirtiest look. It was pretty hilarious, actually. He was like, I was saying there's too much compression on the sax. And from then on, this was like the second day I knew that I had met, the first day I met him. And from then on, we were friends. And so I talked to him every day for like 2 weeks while he was there. So, of course, I have to be that guy, right? I think that it's getting too squashed. Anyway, so this is, let me play a little bit of Cityscape here because this blows my mind. This is Klaus Ogerman, Mike Brecker, 1982. This was recorded at the Power Station at Avatar, same studio. And my friend Don Werschbaugh was the assistant engineer. Okay. I want to hire an orchestra. I always had an idea for this. To play this intro part. Just this. I'm going to play you the part. Okay. It's coming up here. Okay, it's coming up right here. Okay, this part right here. Listen. Listen right here. Right here. And then listen to the chords right here. And then right here. Okay, that blows me away. The Brecker's playing and Klaus Ogerman's writing there blows my mind. I can listen to that a million times. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I inquired as to how to get the string parts. It was always a dream of me to hire an orchestra and redo this because I can't hear exactly what the strings are doing during that section because the sax is right up the center and it's obscuring what the middle, the second violins and the violas are playing. And I want to hear the exact part. So I was like, how could I find the score to this? And I spent weeks tracking this down. This is like 3 years ago. And I tracked down the score, the parts. And I got I had to contact the whoever does both of them are deceased. Mike died in 2007, Mike Brecker, and Klaus Ogerman died in 2016. But I contacted them to because you have to rent the scores, right? And I thought if I could ever hire an orchestra to redo that and get someone contemporary to replay it and re-record it, because this is only played one time. Think about that. It's amazing, and that would be a figure out how to fund hiring an orchestra to do that. Any chances for Peter Buck? Maybe. Took me forever to get Mike Mills on. Any planned interview with Alan Poscom and Jimmy Johnson, who both played with Alan? Yes. Probably get those. I'm sure I could get those guys on. I'd love to get those guys on. That's Cityscapes by Ogerman and Brecker. Ogerman and Brecker. That's what it's called. It came out in 1962. Cityscape is one word. What else? Oh my gosh. So we have about 550 subs left to get there, to get to 5 million. Subscribe, people. Do it. Share the live stream for those of you on here. We're trying to get to 5 million today. I'll do another ad read here for the only thing that I sell, the only things that I don't push any products. I don't do any ad reads except for my courses. That's it. I've got a sale going on till tomorrow night. If you want to support the channel and do something for yourself to improve your musicianship, I'm selling all 6 of my courses for $109. That's $18.16 per course. And that is my Beato book interactive, which is my theory course, my Quick Lessons Pro, which is my intermediate guitar course based on my Quick Lessons. It's 5 hours of instructional video on more modern kind of guitar stuff. My Beato ear training, that's all the ear training stuff that I've done over my entire lifetime with people, teaching them how to hear chord progressions, how to hear intervals, how to transcribe melodies, learn songs by ear on one listen, has hundreds of interactive training modules and videos that go with it. My music theory for songwriters that talks about how to expand your knowledge of for not only harmony but for melody writing, music forms, things like that. My beginner guitar course and my my Arpeggio Masterclass. Those all 6 of those for $109. Okay, what are some other things that that are things that I come back and listen to all the time? I'm going to play a couple things here. This is a song a piece that was all the parts are improvised. It's by Keith Jarrett. It came out. It's off the Spirits record, which came out in 1986. This is Keith Jarrett just overdubbing on 2 cassette players, and he played all the parts, including the saxophone. And his soprano sax playing is absolutely beautiful. Keith Jarrett, you think of as one of the greatest pianists of all time. Keith Jarrett's saxophone, his soprano sax playing is phenomenal. Listen to this. This is beautiful. Spirits 20. He's playing everything on here. Keith just turned 80. That's not Jan Garbarek. That's Keith. Listen to this right here. Then. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is Keith playing saxophone. He's playing everything. Listen to this right here. Then. Oh my God. Oh, come on. Listen to this right here. Okay. This is the sacrilegious to stop Keith. That's all Keith Jarrett playing every instrument. It's a Pakistani flute. He's playing the soprano saxophone. He's playing the piano. He's doing everything. This entire record, Spirits, it's called Spirits. He recorded on 2 cassettes. Keith Jarrett, one of the greatest, one of the most important musicians of our lifetime. I mean, honestly, when the history books are written, Keith Jarrett is, I don't know what to say, absolute, one of the greatest musical geniuses of all time. Somebody writes, I just subscribed. Is it possible to reach Kurt Cobain level of melody writing through learning music theory alone? What made him stand out from other copycats? It's interesting. I'll use a great example here. When I interviewed Pat Metheny, he was to me one of the greatest melody players ever on the guitar. Pat said, you can go to school for 4 years on rhythm. You can go 4 years, you can go forever on harmony. Learning to write melodies, they spend about 10 minutes on it. You can do this, you can sequence that, you can, being able to write a great melody, there's so many, you can analyze a melody afterwards, but to write a great melody is, there's intangible things involved with that. What makes something memorable? I think of Layla and I were riding in the car the other day. She's like, play Weak and Powerless. She always wants to, Weak and Powerless. This is a Perfect Circle song. Speaking of Josh Freese, Josh played, I made a video about this where when I interviewed Josh, I had a little snippet of it. They invited us to the sound check. I've interviewed Billy Howardell before, and I know Maynard. I've interviewed Maynard multiple times. Massive Tool fan. Pussifer, Perfect Circle. Anything Maynard's involved with, great. Maynard's genius. Josh Freese's drum part on this we talked about, and Layla loves this song, as do I. And the drum part, this incessant bass drum part that just goes, the kick is just incredible. It's Weak and Powerless. But the melody, oh my God. Billy's guitar parts, the drums, but Maynard's melody over this. Listen to this. Josh Freese! Woo! What's that bass drum? Billy, amazing. Wow. Josh Freese, man, come on. Give it up. beautiful melody.
I would find a little solace and some peace of mind, whatever, just as long as I don't feel so desperate.
Then. Okay, so I just played UK, Keith Jarrett, and A Perfect Circle in a row. Shout out to Josh Freeze. Now, we are, I'm so bad at math here. We are 340 subscribers away from 5 million. Okay, think about this. So 5 million, and that's only halfway to where the next award for YouTube is. So 10 million is the next award, right? The diamond plaque that you get. It's like, come on, YouTube does 100,000, then a million, and then 10 million. 10 million for real? Yeah, 10 million. That's, man. One last request. You should invite Paul McCartney on. Invite Paul McCartney on. How do I invite Paul McCartney on? I don't know Paul McCartney. I need to make that video why Paul McCartney will never come on my channel. If you share this and you can share the live stream with your friends and tell them to subscribe. Call your friends, tell them to subscribe. If you unsub and sub again, it just subtracts and adds it right back. Let's see here. So, let me see here. What else? What is something that I don't ever play on here? You know what I don't ever play? How many of you, you got to be old school Rick Beato listener here to know this, because this is a thing from, I'm not going to tell you what this is from or what this is, but if you watched my channel back in 2017, 2018, you'll know what this is. That's a piece that I wrote for one of my early videos. Now, if you were to ask me what it was, I don't know, but it was a demonstration piece where I was, I'm not sure what I was doing. It's called hybrid scale there. It's not, it's many scales and stuff. It's not many, but it's from one of my early videos when I did mainly really advanced teaching things. And I would do, these demonstration pieces. I would call them, I guess. And I did them when I make videos on modes and things like that. I used to always do these things way back in 2017, 2018, early in the channel, before I started the What Makes This Song Great. And I didn't make any videos on current music, rock music, jazz, or nothing. I only made videos on composition, film scoring, stuff like that at the beginning of my channel. Really, the first 200,000 subscribers, I made those kind of videos there. But that was the end part of a video. I'd always have a demonstration piece that would talk about whatever concept I talked about in the video. It'd be at the end, and no one ever heard those. But I used to use that as like an intro thing in my videos, really more for the second channel. Somebody says, have you ever worked with Eric Valentine? I interviewed Eric Valentine, but last week, but I have not put it out yet. I have all these interviews that I've done that are unfinished, that will come out soon. But we have 190 subscribers to get to 5 million. Wow, amazing. I've been on for 3 hours and 3 minutes, just over 3 hours. Let's see here. What's my favorite Oscar Peterson album? Oh my God, there's too many of them. But since you asked, let's see if I can find it here. Yes, I found it. Oh my God. Okay. You want to hear some playing here? You want to hear some swinging? Okay, actually, this is Oscar and Joe Pass. This is a live record. This is the song Stella by Starlight. 1975? My dad and I used to listen to this all the time. My dad and I listened to this 100 times together. He bought this record. This reminds me of my dad. Oscar comes in a minute. Woo! Now, when Oscar comes in, you know that Oscar had perfect pitch. When he plays the first chord, he plays the exact voicing that Joe plays on B flat major 7. Listen, same voicing. Right here. Note for note. Do you guys hear that? Note for note. what he plays there. Listen to Oscar. Oh! Woo! This is double-handed, two octaves apart. Right here. This is a groove. The whole tone scale. Woo! Now they go into the groove. It's just two people. Woo! No. They're swinging so hard. Now listen to Oscar swinging here. Woo! Oh! He plays, let's right here. Listen. Woo! Oh! We're getting near. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Almost to 5 million. Woo! We did it. Layla, get over here.
Congrats.
High five. Woo!
Hi, Ella.
Unbelievable. Okay. Amazing. Let me play the end of this. Listen to that. This is amazing. Listen. Then here. Oh. That's my applause to you guys. That's amazing. Cannot believe it, honestly. Wow. It took 3 hours and 10 minutes to get there. Wow. You know, Layla asked me one day, I mentioned this in a live stream. Thank you, everybody. Layla's like, how long are you going to do YouTube for? Now, she graduates in what is it? Let's see. She'll be in 7th grade next year, so 5 more years. 2029 she graduates. And I said, well, I'll do it at least till then, till you get into college, or maybe graduate from college. I said, I got to do it. I got to. And she's like, you need to do it till you get 10 million subscribers. And I was like, oh my God, 10 million subscribers. That's going to take, I don't know if I can ever get there. It took 9 years almost to get to 5 million. So, getting to 10 million, but who knows? It's, can happen. Never know. Need some big videos though. Need some. I need some. 30 million view viral videos to get to do that. That's the thing. But channel's as big as it ever was right now. It's. I have more views. I've had more views in the past year than I've ever had per month than I've ever had on my channel by far. I'm pretty consistently doing 40 to 50 million views a month on my channel, which is way more than I ever did. So thanks to you guys. It's really the channel is done incredibly well over the past 2 years or so. It's grown even more than ever. So I really appreciate everything. I was thinking that I was hoping to get to 5 million by my 9-year anniversary. I got past it here a few days prior to, I hit 9 years on June 2nd is my 9-year anniversary. That's only a week from now or so. So, 8 days from now, it will be my 9th year anniversary. I'll do something on that probably, but, you guys are amazing. Thank you to all for all the super chats. HGIAZZI super chat. Really appreciate that. Get Liam and Noel. You'll have 10 million the following morning. That'd be quite a thing. Probably be better to get them separately. You guys are incredible. But I couldn't have done it without you guys. I just, can't believe it. Thank you so much, you guys. I don't know. Cheers to the next 5 million. Let's get to 10. Thank you everybody for staying on. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll talk soon, okay? See you guys. Take care.